Friends, this is the old school traveler. I'm back. I'm back here to tell you where I just came from. This video gonna show some real live pandas. Real live pandas. I went to go visit the pandas in San Diego. So this video gonna show you some real ones. It's also gonna show you San Diego downtown and the freeways and stuff. And I'm gonna be honest about it. I love San Diego. It's only one thing I don't like about it. I'm gonna tell you about it in a minute. It's not really a game changer as far as the breadth of what they offer versus what I would like to see. But San Diego is I see why people go there because it's a pretty city. It's got a nice skyline. It's not too big. It's not too small, and the skyline is right on the ocean. I mean, it's right at the Pacific Ocean. So let's talk about San Diego. San Diego is a city of maybe 1 million people, maybe 2 million in the suburbs and stuff. But San Diego is a pretty quiet, easygoing city. Yeah, it's a pretty quiet, easygoing city. You would not see some of the stuff in San Diego that you see in other West Coast cities. When you do see it, you don't see it to the degree that you see it in other cities, which is what surprised me. Now, let's talk about the good and the bad. I always tell you the good and the bad. The bad part about San Diego that I was holding off, but I'm gonna tell you about it. The food. San Diego got good food, but it's not a foodie city. In other words, it ain't got a little everything. It's got a lot of Asian food, and it's got California style American food. What I mean by that, there is no really great dish that San Diego can own, like Baltimore owned crabs or blue crabs. Yeah, there is no city in San Diego there's no food that San Diego really owns. They just don't. And plus, they put avocado on everything, and they charge you more for it. I seen stuff in Asian restaurants. I went to this Thai Lao place, and they took a decent. Now, I lived in Thailand before, so I knew the dish was like. They added avocado to it, but I think that's for the the younger folks, the newer folks, because San Diego is definitely a college military town. There isn't a lot of other large industries, even though the tech industry is big out there, like Qualcomm and some of the other ones. It's not like Silicon Valley, but it could be. But I don't think that's their goal. I think San Diego's smart is that they're not depending on employment from one source. Now, I'm saying that, but you got a lot of universities, like University of San Diego, California, University of California, San Diego State. Yeah, I mean, you got some decent sized universities that are nice, and then you got some places that are all right, like Qualcomm is big. But you get Qualcomm universities. The military is huge, so you don't have just one industry, and that goes bad. The whole city sinks. I mean, the whole city is not going to sink if one of them goes bad because the others are going to increase. Now, San Diego is not a city of have-nots. A city of have and have-nots. It's not that kind of city. It's a city of haves. I stayed in La Jolla, the Embassy Suites in La Jolla. And I paid about $250, $300 a night. It depends on what night it was. If it was a weekend or a weekday. That's what I stayed at. So I'm saying that. And that is based on my experience, what I saw driving around, walking around, eating in all the places. I didn't see a lot of have-nots. I seen a few homeless. Now, so that says a lot because you go to LA, San Fran, Seattle, Portland, that's a different ballgame. That's a different story. And San Diego, I don't want to say it's an expensive city, but it's not cheap. And I'm comparing these prices to Washington, D.C. The prices to me are about the same. It's not cheap. But the hotel's price is about the same for Embassy Suites. And I wasn't on the water or anything like that, even though I would have loved to have been on the water, but I wasn't. Now, when I say that, San Diego it's not for everybody. Because what makes it separates it from everybody else is that the weather. The weather's damn near perfect, but it does get a little chilly at night, down to the 60s. But daytime it never got extremely hot in my 7 days there. Now San Diego's a city that you can see and do everything you want to see and do in 3 days. You don't need a whole week, because I found myself struggling to keep myself occupied out of the 7 days for like 4 of them. I struggle. And that's even spending an entire day at the zoo and an entire day at the Midway Museum, which I got pictures of those too. So the other 4 days, I'm not going to Mexico, not this day and age. The other 4 days, I found myself just riding around San Diego to see what they had. So you'll find yourself liking San Diego for a lot of different reasons. But the weather, man, you can't, you just can't beat the weather. Now, some of you, no matter what the weather is, you're going to complain about it. It's too hot, too cold, all raised. No. You don't need a thermostat. God has done that for you already in San Diego. He has put it on the perfect temperature. And like I said, the food scene was not to my liking. Not to my liking at all. Now, like I said, it wasn't a deal breaker because I ate a lot of Asian food. But I couldn't find that kick-ass diner I wanted for breakfast. No, I couldn't find it in San Diego. People there, was, downtown and out in suburbs, it was just not like most cities of that size, especially of that size, But you will find something to do if you like the beaches. Now, I went to the beaches to fly my drone and do other things, and I enjoy riding along the beaches and seeing the houses until you find out what the price is. You're like, well, I gotta save the gas because this is ridiculous. But the military has a heavy presence, and I wonder to myself a lot, especially to somebody like myself who was in the military, where are these people living at? Because if you work on base, it's not paying California wages. It's not paying that kind of money. It's not paying you $200,000 to work in the commissary or the PX. It's not doing that. No. It's paying you $50,000 at the most, and you ask yourself, where do people work at? What they do for a living and where they live at. Because it just seems kind of like ridiculous. So when we get to the panda pictures, I got some nice pictures for you. I'm gonna show you all San Diego and some other animals too. So it's not just pandas. It's some other areas too. But I could live in San Diego if the prices were more manageable as far as what real estate costs. Because right now real estate is just a joke in California. That's why people leave. But at the same time, San Diego is a safe city. You don't see anything that makes you feel like you can't walk around at night and do things at night, no matter where you are. I don't care where you are. Even in La Jolla, which is an upscale area, by the way, people walk between the hotels and walked around, to get their exercise in the morning and stuff. But I went downtown San Diego. I saw the same thing. I didn't see a fear factor in anyone's eyes. I didn't see any of that. So if you want to go to a city with very little hassle, now the highways can be crowded at night, or at rush hour. They can be crowded, but luckily I was always going the opposite way. I was going the opposite way of traffic every single time, but I time my trips to do that. But they got what they call the California 136. Traffic is always bad because that thing goes from 4 lanes to 2 lanes to 3 lanes to 2 lanes to 4 lanes. It's a mess. They totally built that highway wrong. And it's the main highway going downtown San Diego, which is understandable. But my whole point to going out to San Diego was I wanted to see a large city that had a few attractions, but you can get around and see them all in one day, at the most maybe 2. And San Diego, you can do that. You can do that. You can see everything San Diego got in 2 days. If anybody takes you more than 2 days, that's because you're seeing a lot of crap you don't want to see. And it is what it is. You see a lot of crap you just don't want to see, or you shouldn't see, or ain't necessary to see. Matter of fact, San Diego, one of the few cities that, they still got the San Diego Padres baseball team. They only got one sign on the interstate saying the stadium. That's all it says, the stadium. One sign on the interstate, and if you miss that exit, you're just gone to the next county or whatever it is that you're going to the next exit. It is what it is. But nothing. Oh, San Diego is not a sports town. They are not a sports town. There's a reason why the Clippers, left San Diego. There's a reason why the Chargers left San Diego. It is a reason why. It's not a sports town. But the demographics is fairly young. The demographics is very, very young. So, and if you look at the demographics, and let's just put it out there, you got a lot of Asians, a lot. You got a lot of young military. They are not gonna be paying $200 to go to the damn football game. No, they don't do it in Maryland. No, we got a couple of rabid fans of Ravens and other stuff. The University of Maryland football team don't sell out their games. I mean, it's like San Diego is a college town. Now I'm sure they get a lot of responses to the college sports, but they don't have huge universities. They don't have a UCLA. No, they got UCSD. So it's a big difference. But with the sunshine, you can find things to do all day long outside of sports. They're not sitting back waiting for the Chargers to come back. See you, bye, later, kick the door. Don't need you. They don't, and then the city isn't going to build those kind of facilities and rip the people who live there off because some billionaire told him you can make money. No, he's making money. I don't know what billionaire ever told you something that didn't benefit him first. But but when it comes to the food scene, I didn't see food trucks. People would tell me, this is the middle of the week. People say, oh, the food trucks are on this street, on that street. I didn't see no damn food trucks. I went looking for them, and I see one. Most downtowns or at least the nearest park to downtown, they got food trucks during the week. During the week, you can go find some food trucks. You can find a variety of foods to eat. If you work downtown, nah, not San Diego. It's kind of a quiet city, to be honest about it. It's a very, very quiet city. You didn't see food trucks. You didn't see a lot of, the funny thing about it is that you don't see a lot of traffic downtown when you get there. But yet you see all this traffic intended to go downtown, and the San Diego Zoo is nice, but the parking lot is not that big, for an attraction that's really international. The parking lot is not that big because San Diego Zoo is definitely a world-class zoo, depending on what day you go. Because I went there and I saw a lot of things, and the video shows the stuff I saw. Yeah, the video shows all that. But what I didn't realize until I got there, because I was trying to figure out how do they, how they got all these animals in such a small area. Well, they got two parks. They got Safari Park, which is not located in San Diego. That's a lot bigger, but it's a lot conducive to the type of animals they have in the Safari Park. And then they got the San Diego Zoo, which in my mind, and with all the advertising I ever saw, they talk about the San Diego Zoo, San Diego Zoo. They don't talk about the San Diego Safari Park. So that was a shocker. Even though I knew they had this San Diego Safari Park before I went, I knew that. But I didn't know they were treated as one. So people be careful when they say San Diego Zoo. You got to make sure that, because when I visited the pandas, I had to make sure that when I was visiting the pandas, that I went to the right one. And there's no clear-cut line that the pandas are at the zoo. Because the safari park and the zoo look at themselves as one, but yet they're located 35 miles apart. That's a huge damn difference. That's a huge difference. So you need to know that before you go, because you're going to go to the wrong place and stand in line forever and say, ain't no pandas over here. They're back over by the zoo. Well, you can buy a pass where you can see both of them back to back for one price. And the zoo is not expensive at all. But you can do a 2-for-1 deal. It's just that you don't know that. It's kind of like you find all that out when you get to San Diego, which is kind of like a little bit damn late to me. They should always advertise both of them together on every commercial, on everything. They didn't do that. But I didn't get tricked by it, though, because the night before, I Googled like hell, which park has the damn pandas? Because I lived in, I've been to Africa numerous times. I want to see the pandas. And I did see the pandas, and I got pictures of the pandas. Now, here's the thing that you got to know, too, when you go to the zoo, that I'm going to tell you. There are days where the pandas don't want to come out and play. There are days they don't want to come out and play. And if you paid your money, and you won't know that until you get up to the panda cage. That's what it is, cage. And when you get there, they will tell you, oh, today they're not coming out. Well, that's a hell of a thing to know. That's a hell of a thing to know. But they may not even know until you get there. But luckily, I went on a Wednesday, and it was nobody there. They didn't usher you through real quick. They didn't tell you got 15 minutes. Nope. You can stay and look at them as long as you want to. And all they do is eat all damn day long. That's all they do. So that's enough about the zoo. Look at the videos, and I got lots of videos of the zoo that I won't never have time to download them. But also the Midway Museum is great if you want to see a good war memorial. Very, very good for that. I enjoyed it, but it's expensive as hell to buy any souvenirs. That's the part I understand. I know you're not a military organization anymore, but you talking about a military warship here. You talking about a military aircraft carrier, and you give veterans and military discounts. I got my discount, not a problem. But if you want people to understand the history of the military and other kind of stuff, make it a little cheaper for everybody. But someone invested a lot of money, and like American greed, they decided that's what we're going to charge to get our money back, which it never happened. But if you're going to make it a monument to Americans who died in war, make it so that their great grandkids and everybody else, because the way it works, only the retiree or the veteran gets the discount, not the family. Now, if the family got an ID card, they get it. But if you're in your 50s and 60s and you got great grandkids, they don't get an ID card, just you and the wife. So that's how that works out. Now, let's talk about the San Diego food situation here. I told you earlier I didn't see food trucks and all that. I said it was not very diverse. I'm going to tell you why. They don't have foods from around the world. They have foods from 3 regions. And they didn't even have the best Mexican food, and they're on the damn border. But they have food from 3 regions: Mexican food, and Asian food, and American food. Depending upon what part of San Diego you're in, is what kind of restaurants you're going to see. Now, Asian food was everywhere downtown. Not a big deal. American food is pretty much everywhere too. But Mexican food was not in La Jolla. It was not in the upscale places. And I noticed that right away. I said, damn, they ain't got no Mexican food. I mean, I got to go downtown to get it. Now, I know, you want to keep the Mexicans out of this country, the illegal Mexicans, but let a few of them in so we can have some damn Mexican food everywhere. Especially in a county that's about probably 20% Mexican. San Diego surprised me how white it is to be on the border of Mexico. Just opposite of LA. Maybe the Mexicans don't stop in San Diego and they keep going to LA and going to the other places, like the east side of LA and San Bernardino and places. But they damn sure don't stop in San Diego. They keep their train moving. So I was kind of surprised by that. Now, saying all that, when you go out there, parking is cheap. San Diego, like typical West Coast cities, they don't have a very, very good public infrastructure for moving people around. No, it's definitely a car city. It's definitely a car city. And they got a few interstates, like, you got the I-5, the 804, I mean, they got the 215, they got all that. But those highways are outdated. Because I think when they built them, they didn't think that San Diego had the population they got right now. Now, like I tell you, it's two zoos. One's in Escondido and one's in San Diego. The safari park is in Escondido. That's got all your nature wildlife stuff, your lions and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to be in San Diego. But can I live in San Diego? Hell yeah. I can live any place where the temperature go between 75 and 80 every day. I could go to any place and be happy. There's no perfect place, but Palm Springs and San Diego because you got the mountains 2 hours, 2 hours east, and you got the beaches 5 minutes west. So you got a lot of options there. You cannot go wrong. So those are my kind of cities, and I would have to go to LA to get some good diverse food. Because San Diego definitely doesn't have a diverse culture. Now the culture is Asians and whites. And because the military there, they're there just temporarily. Everybody knows that. It's not a long-term thing with them. But they will always be there because it's the headquarters of a couple of aircraft carriers. And it's probably the second largest port in the world for American ships behind Norfolk. Behind Norfolk, Virginia. So the people seem to get along. Now, one thing that I said earlier, I don't know if you heard me, if you come to San Diego broke, you can't make it. Nah, you can't make it. It's not one of those kind of cities. I didn't see a lot of anything other than Asians, whites, and a few Mexicans, a few of them. Not that many. But you got to already have made it when you come to San Diego. Can you do a startup and get big? Nah, it's not the area for you. San Diego is not the kind of city where you can come with nothing and leave or make something out of yourself. No, you got to come there with a game plan, and you got to be able to execute the game plan, and I think you'll be all right. But you can't come there with zero and leave a hero. Not in San Diego. So, like I said, as a food city, nah, it's all right, but it's not on the grand scale of other big cities. And the idea of guacamole and everything, or avocado and everything, that's not me either. And I really hate paying for it when you ride hundreds of miles, on I-5 in Central California, and that's all you see. And you think I can grab a couple of these and I'm good to go. So this is the old school traveler telling you, San Diego. Oh, I love the city, and I'm definitely. Nah, I'm not gonna say that. I don't know if I don't know if I'm ever going back, because I think I can use that money in other places to see other things. Maybe I'm gonna enjoy them, maybe I'm not, but I think I rolled the dice on that one though. So that's just my take on San Diego. But I'm the old school traveler, and San Diego is what it is. But it's a city you should do at least once. If nothing else, go to the zoo at least once. But then again, they got zoos, but not every zoo got a panda. And that's what makes them stand out to me and to almost everybody I know. Everybody wants to see the panda, but don't go see the pandas thinking they're going to hug you. No, these are giant pandas, even small pandas. These things are big as hell. They remind me of some of my relatives. They are big as hell. And they don't know it, but yet they're mobile. They move around. They have no issue at all. But they're very tender and caring like my relatives. And they're big like my relatives. This is your boy DJ Leon D, also known as the Old School Traveler. Letting you know what we see when we see it and how we see it so you can see it and you can enjoy seeing it. Peace out.